The silence in the house was a physical thing, clinging to the walls, the furniture, the bookshelves, like a memory that wouldn't fade. Sometimes Olivia thought she could still hear Noah's footsteps in the hall, or his voice humming a tune they used to sing together. It had been 2 years since he was gone. While the world outside moved on, time stood still inside her little house. Olivia had always been resilient, but after Noah's death, that resilience felt like a paper-thin shell, cracking under the weight of being alone. She kept telling herself it would get easier, but it didn't. His absence was a constant ache she couldn't soothe. Therapy helped, but it never felt like enough. The pain was a quiet, persistent companion, following her from room to room in the house they had built together. Then one day, the idea came to her. A dog, she thought, looking out the window. Maybe that's what I need. She was never an animal person, not like Noah, but the loneliness was becoming unbearable. That afternoon, she called the local animal shelter. The next few days were a blur of visiting, looking at face after hopeful face. But it was Milo who made something shift inside her. He wasn't the cutest dog there. He was a scruffy mix, with shaggy fur and eyes that seemed far too intelligent for his unkempt appearance. He just watched her for a moment, tilting his head as if he were sizing her up. Then he gently pushed his nose against the cage, a silent plea. On impulse, Olivia reached out her hand. He came home with her that afternoon. His paws scraped on the floor as he explored every corner of the house, sniffing everything, marking his territory with the excitement of a new start. A strange mix of excitement and apprehension filled her heart. She was just grateful for his presence, for the way he seemed to fill the silent house with life again. That first night, she let him sleep on the bed with her. She expected it to feel awkward, sharing her space with a creature she barely knew, but it wasn't. He curled up beside her, his head resting against her side, and for the first time in months, Olivia felt a flicker of warmth. The steady rise and fall of his breathing was like a lullaby. For that one moment, listening to his gentle snores, she forgot the ache in her heart, the hole Noah had left. There was just Milo, a new companion in her quiet world. In the weeks that followed, Milo became more than just a dog. He was her constant shadow, her confidant. He was there when she couldn't stand to be alone, offering comfort with a wagging tail or a gentle nudge of his head. Olivia found herself talking to him, pouring out her heart as if he could understand every word. She'd be reading a book, and Milo would lie at her feet, his eyes never leaving her face. In those moments, she couldn't help but wonder if Noah was watching over them, if he had somehow sent Milo to help her heal. One evening, she poured a glass of wine and turned to find Milo sitting at her feet, his big brown eyes staring up at her. "I don't know what I'd do without you, Milo," she murmured, scratching behind his ears. His tail thumped against the floor. For the first time in a long time, Olivia smiled, a real smile. She felt a spark of hope, of companionship, of being truly seen. She became more and more attached to Milo. At night, the warmth of his body next to her was a comfort that eased her loneliness. Lying awake in the dark, her thoughts would drift from Noah to Milo. She'd whisper Noah's name, and sometimes she thought she felt a response in the subtle shift of warmth beside her. A fleeting thought crossed her mind. Maybe Milo wasn't just a dog. Maybe he was Noah returned in a new form. She'd quickly dismiss it, but the longer they were together, the harder it was to ignore the feeling that he was filling the exact space Noah had left behind. As she sat on the couch one evening, her hand resting on Milo's head, she felt content. This was what she wanted, right? The comfort of having someone beside her again. But a tiny voice in the back of her mind whispered that things weren't that simple. For now, she pushed the thought away, happy to just enjoy the moment. Her life settled into a simple routine. Wake up, walk Milo, feed him, and spend the day together. The mornings were still quiet, but the silence no longer bothered her. Milo's steady presence brought a kind of stability to her chaotic emotions. She started noticing little things about him, his unwavering gaze, his constant, loyal presence. A nighttime ritual, him curling up beside her, became an unspoken necessity. She'd always been cautious about getting too attached to anything, but her bond with Milo had grown so quietly, so organically, she didn't realize how deep it was until it was too late to turn back. One evening, reading on the couch, Milo jumped up and rested his head in her lap. She stroked his fur, lost in thought. She thought about Noah, about never hearing his voice again. The world had moved on without her. But here was Milo. His warmth felt like it could bridge the gap, fill the void. Could he understand her grief? Could he sense the ghost of Noah that still lingered in the house? It was just a passing thought. He was just a dog, she told herself. Just a dog. But then things started to change. It was subtle at first. Milo became more insistent about being close to her. His nudges and movements at night felt more frequent, more intentional. She didn't think much of it. Dogs are affectionate, and Milo had always been a bit clingy. The feeling that something was off didn't hit her until one night when she came home late. She walked into the living room and found Milo sitting by the door, waiting. But there was no tail wag, no bark. He just stared at her. His dark eyes followed her every move. "Hey, Milo," she said, a sudden tension creeping up her spine. He didn't respond, his gaze never leaving her. There was something different in the way he looked at her, something that made her heart beat a little faster. She told herself she was just tired imagining things, but the feeling lingered. The next few days were more of the same. Milo was constantly by her side, almost too much. When she made tea in the kitchen, he sat by the door, eyes fixed on her. When she went to the bathroom, he was waiting on the other side. It wasn't demanding behavior. It was the intensity of his attention that began to unsettle her. It felt like he was watching her, waiting for something. One night, she woke up to find Milo on the edge of the bed, his face inches from hers. His breath was soft on her skin, but his eyes were wide open, staring at her in the dark. She blinked, confused. He pressed his nose against her cheek, moving closer. "Milo?" she murmured, her voice thick with sleep. The dog remained still, his body pressed against hers in an almost protective way. There was no hesitation, just a warm, solid presence. And strangely, Olivia found herself relaxing into the feeling, comforted by his nearness. Thank you for watching. If this story has brought up difficult emotions, please remember that support is available. You can reach out to a crisis hotline or a mental health professional. Taking care of your mental well-being is important. Don't forget to follow for more stories.